Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Comic Beat Insider, the Zoom pandemic podcast that Heidi McDonald of The Beat and I started back in late March, early April, covering mostly film, but we also cover comics and TV and all sorts of other things. And this week we're doing the 1954 classic White Christmas. And I am Jimmy Aquino with Comic News Insider.
And I'm Heidi McDonald. I'm the editor-in-chief of The Beat, the news blog of comics culture at comicsbeat.com.
And join us today, a returning champion, Erin Crosby. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me back.
Erin did our It's a Wonderful Life one, and said she was like, "I'm a giant White Christmas fan." I'm like, "Okay,
Huge.
right on."
Huge.
And then I put it out there who else liked White Christmas, and Amy was like one of like so many people hit me up, but Amy was the first. Amy Wolk, everybody. Hello, Amy Wolk.
Hey, welcome, Amy.
Amy was the first. Like, I live for this film. I'm like, all right. Amy's a Mac Award-winning singer, and her and Erin apparently have known each other since they were kids. So there you go. And I didn't know that, and I know both of them. So,
so this is our Let's Put On a Show edition of Comic Beat Insider for sure.
So if we break out into song, we have two amazing singers here, so they can throw it on there. Alrighty, guys. So White Christmas. It's 1954 American musical directed by Michael Curtis, who of course Casablanca, Robin Hood, Mildred Pierce, Yankee Doodle Dandy. My God, great credits. Starring Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney, and Vera Ellen. I love her so much. Yeah, it's so good. Songs by Irving Berlin, the very famous songs, of course, White Christmas. And it was sort of a new version of the song. Because if you remember, the song was actually introduced way back in 1942 in Holiday Inn.
And boy, you don't want to watch that nowadays because it's got some surprises.
Yeah. 10 years ago, I watched it. I hadn't seen it in probably 20 years. And I was like, oh, what's happening? What is this? And I totally forgot about the Abraham number. Yeah, the Abraham number. I was like, holy cow. But it was introduced there first. And then for years, they wanted to make a sequel to it to bring back Fred Astaire and then Bing Crosby. But apparently Fred read the script and was like, nope, don't want to do it. And, I honestly don't know why. Why wouldn't he do it? And so they went through some casting, and like even Crosby dropped out at one point. He's like your grandfather, right, Erin? But
I wish.
And
Donald terrible in real life.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're not.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah.
I'll take that money though.
Yeah, exactly. Donald O'Connor was set to co-star after that, but then he got ill. And so Danny Kaye stepped in, who at the time was a giant star. So they were like, let's get Danny Kaye. They brought some new writers in to sort of rewrite stuff for Danny to sort of work his, slapstick and his humor because he's so great at that. And then they started coming together. And like even the writers felt like the original script they said it was the lousiest script they had ever seen. I was like, wow, I wonder what all those rewrites were about. But yeah. So it was interesting how Rosemary got cast as well, because apparently there's a letter that Bing wrote to Paramount Studios where he says, and I quote, "How about a dame called Rosemary Clooney? Sings a good song and is purportedly personable."
Purportedly personable. That's what I want on my gravestone. The Heidi McDonald. She was purportedly personal.
So that's how she got in there. But so then the cast came together, and we have what we now call White Christmas. So,
but Jimmy, when was the first time? We like to go around and talk about the first time you saw the movie. So what was the first time you saw it?
Just getting there, but we probably really young, because my mom, I know I was introduced like most of us were when we were young by our parents to stuff, and I'm guessing I must have been really probably 10 or 11. I probably first saw it. I have no recollection, of course, when it was, but I know over the years I saw it, and certainly the past 10-15 years I watch it every year, if not multiple times. I already watched it twice this week, and then bought the DVD years ago just so I could have it, and it has some great extras on there actually, so that's where I got that letter from. The Bing Crosby letter was from the extras. But so I've seen it many times over the years for sure, but probably first when I was 10.
So I thought I had seen it before. I had never seen this movie before, or at least I know.
What are you talking about?
Never never that it went through my consciousness. As you know, I talk about it all the time, how I grew up with Channel 9 and Channel 11 in the New York area. So if a movie wasn't in their rotation, I didn't see it. We didn't have streaming. We didn't have DVDs. We didn't have videotape. So, I just watched it for the first time. yesterday on Thanksgiving.
Always the day before.
Always the day before, but that's because I forget otherwise. My mind is like, so I just saw it. Of course, it's a delightful Hollywood musical. I mean, I do have some, I feel like the tyro here, because you guys have all actually done musicals, so my thoughts are, I do have some thoughts. I have some thoughts on it. Yeah. So, but anyway.
So wait, you saw Holiday Inn though, but you hadn't seen White Christmas?
Well, that was, yes, because I was at home and my family was watching Holiday Inn, and then
Abraham, nope. Oh no, yikes.
Although we do hear Abraham as an instrumental.
Yeah, which I'd forgotten, because then we get to that scene, I'd actually hear somebody go, let's rehearse for the Abraham number, and I was like, oh, I never noticed that before. And you do hear a little bit of like the instrumental, yeah, but I was like,
you're like, no,
as long as at least they didn't do the.
Just in case anybody isn't aware, in Abraham, the number in Holiday Inn, which is, I guess, a tribute to Abraham Lincoln, our great president. Suddenly, Bing Crosby and everybody puts on blackface, and they're singing as solemnly as they can how much they love Abraham Lincoln. So, no.
Yikes.
Yeah. But anyway, I want to hear from the rest of the panel for whom this is a beloved classic.
Yeah. When did you guys first see it? Amy, it's your first time here. When did you first see it?
I mean, I honestly can't tell you when I first saw it. It's been in my life, my whole life. No. I mean, for real, like, it's my family's favorite movie. We are the Jewish people, So, it is written by a Jewish person too, so always a bonus. But I love this movie, and I honestly watch it so frequently in my house. I mean, frequently. I have the DVD. It's got the best extras. Commentary by Rosemary Clooney is perfect.
Yes.
It sounds like she's got like a highball in her hand, like while she's giving the commentary.
Oh, no question.
And like sometimes you can like just every so often she just goes, baby. Like my favorite thing. I love it. I mean, I would go to my grandmother's house and I'd get the insert with the TV times, right? And I would circle all the times It's a Wonderful Life was on, because It's a Wonderful Life was on all the time, but I only like certain parts of that movie. So I would all the parts I like, and then I would like circle the White Christmases, and my whole family would watch it. So they would like rely on me to keep it on TV all day, basically.
Wait. We'll go up 2 weeks ago. It's a Wonderful Life. We have to touch on that, because that's my favorite movie ever.
I
like certain parts of the film.
No, I like that whole movie, but there were parts that I really liked. Like I really, when I was a kid, liked them falling into the swimming pool. Like that was so So like, things like that. And then there were sad parts. Also, like young George Bailey is so cute. I mean, he's so dreamy. And so I would make sure I watched the very beginning, even though it's traumatic. I would have to watch young George Bailey, and then I would have to watch the brother because he's so cute too. The brother when he comes home. So like, there's like stupid things like when I was 10.
I see. Okay.
But,
you're off the hook. Okay, great.
All right.
It's my favorite movie though, and Wonderful Life is good, but White Christmas, my favorite. I would say like in my favorite movies, if like I name my favorite movies, it would be in there.
Oh, but not your favorite movie ever.
No, but I don't know. It's definitely my favorite Christmas movie, but it's probably in my top 5 films of all time.
I'd say It's a Wonderful Life is my favorite film ever. White Christmas is up there for my favorite Christmas film.
Yeah.
All
and
right,
then also, like, I worked on the Broadway show too.
Oh. Nice.
I worked on 8 companies of that show over my years I work with kids on Broadway tutoring. So I tutored 8 companies of that show.
Wow.
So I know it very well.
Excellent.
Well,
All right,
we'll hear more about that.
And Erin, when did you see it?
Well, like Amy, it's almost a requirement in my family. White Christmas.
Well, you're a Crosby, so yeah.
Yeah, it was on, it was sung, it was always playing constantly. I don't even remember the first time. I don't, because it was always like just a staple in our house. But our family started a whole new tradition about, oh my gosh, maybe 20 years ago, 18 years ago. The Music Box Theater in Chicago, every holiday season does a White Christmas sing-along.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
And it's incredible. So we would get a big group, I'd come home for the holidays and my mom would have like a big group of friends and we'd all meet at the theater and have our tickets. And you go in and everyone's dressed up. People are wearing obnoxious, things flashing and colorful sweaters. And it's a big, gorgeous, like 1920s, like retro, awesome theater. And Santa Claus comes running down the aisle Everyone
Yeah.
cheers and goes nuts. He gets on the pipe organ, plays music, and everyone sings at the top of their lungs Christmas carols.
The pipe organ.
And then the big red curtains open and White Christmas starts. And everyone's screaming. People treat it like it's a live show.
Oh my
They're clapping
God,
after
it's
every
awesome.
number. It's a blast. And
That sounds like fun.
it was like, okay, now it's Christmas. Now it's the holiday season.
Nice.
And what's amazing is watching it so many times on a big screen versus just at home. I picked up so much more, even though, again, we talk about, when you watch something, how do you see something, new details or new moments all the time. But seeing on the big screen so many times, I saw so many more little jokes or looks or things I had never picked up before by watching it that way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, that sounds fun. Another little tidbit I want to mention, like apparently it's in the extras too. Amy, you probably know this. The King and Queen of this movie got a lot of buzz, before it even happened. So the King and Queen of Greece were visiting the set. And so they had just finished shooting the last scene. And so the director was like, okay, listen, King, Queen of Greece are coming. We need to sort of pretend like we're shooting the scene again, just so they could see it. We're not going to tell them we've already shot that. And Bing was like, I'm not doing it. So he, this is Rosemary telling it. She was like, yeah, Bing's like, I'm going to go play golf. And he went and played golf. And the rest of them just sort of kind of shot the scene without him. And the King, Queen of Greece were like, well, where's Bing go? But yeah, I could totally see that. Because at the time he was 51 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 51. Danny Kaye was 43. Rosemary was 26. Barry Allen was 33. So yeah, he was already very well established in especially
they were all huge.
Yeah,
it's like, of course, Bing Crosby was huge. I don't. He'd been in the Road films with Bob Hope, so he had this an enormous superstar. Danny Kaye. I was reading about him. This guy. Me too. But this guy was like a combination of, Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire and Barack Obama. He was like this humanitarian.
And like Charlie Chaplin. He was like.
This guy was such a superstar of everything. And he did all these humanitarian things. And his wife was Sylvia Fine Kaye, who's like an amazing, songwriter, producer. Like she wrote all his material. Anyway, it's hard to understand just how big Danny Kaye was, and of course Rosemary Clooney was like the young singing star sensation with, come on, to my house. Oh my God, I love that song. So she was like, up and coming star, and Vera Ellen, of course, a great star of musicals, the dancer on Pearl. So this is like, all-star superstar coming together for this. And of course, Michael Curtiz, the great director, and Irving Berlin, the great songwriter. The talent involved is insane. No wonder you guys love it so much.
Yeah, it's great. Well, starting the film, it's like we start right off and we get the song right away. So it's like, oh, there it is, and it's something I've noticed before. It's like as he's singing, they're in war-torn Europe. I'm guessing France or something like that. They're in war-torn Europe and they're just taking a little time to do a little number just to sort of cheer the gang up. But when he sings White Christmas, there's war sounds in the background. And watch the faces of the soldiers they go to. It's like they're all solemn and listening, because it's
heavy.
All it's really a heavy moment. I was like, oh my God, I forgot how really heavy this is, because they're just like, yeah, I'm not home and I want to be home for Christmas and I'm here fighting for our freedom and everyone else's freedom in the world. And it's a really great moment. I'm like, holy cow, this movie starts off with such a great bit. And I love that the Dean Jagger that plays the general. So you just have the whole song, we'll follow the old man. He's the same age as Bing Crosby. They're both 51. There's even a point later on.
Man.
Yeah. There's a point later on. Dean's like, okay, son, could you read that? It's like, you guys are the same age. It's hilarious. But then we set up right away, of course, the whole why they come together, because Danny Kaye's performing with Bing Crosby, and Bing's character's already a well-known solo star. He's Phil, right? He's Phil. He's Bob. No, he's Bob Wallace. Bob Wallace is a well-known, sing like Bing Crosby. So he finds Danny, who's just a private, because I think Bing's character was he a captain or?
Yes, he was a captain. Yeah. Yes, because he was a singing star. So he
got
a little.
Yeah, he got a little. Yeah. So they did a little thing, and then we get to the wall thing where Danny Kaye, where Phil saves his life, and
Which
And
just
do that
I
forever.
just have to throw in here that we see this, they're standing there, and then Danny Kaye says, "Wait, you got to get out of the way," and like the whole wall falls, and I immediately, of course, flashback to the famous Buster Keaton bit, where he was standing and the facade of the wall falls down to the door, and it turns out that actually almost happened to Jimmy, but that's another story for another time. But
Yeah,
anyway,
just doing West Side Story, I almost died. The set fell, and I got pulled
So-
out of the way at the last minute. My Phil saved me. Oh my God!
so wait,
I owe him.
did you make that Phil your partner? Because the next scene is really funny.
His name was Nate, and we got to be really good friends for a while. Then we drifted. I wonder what Nate's doing now. But yeah, he was a very talented man, that's for sure. But yeah, but Nate, you're my boy. Thanks, buddy. But yes, next scene we get, so it's like Danny Kaye's character. The war is going to be ending soon. They feel, and Danny's like, I wrote a song. We should do it together. And Bing's character's like, nah, I'm a solo act. He's like, oh, the running joke, the hurt arm. It's great. It's such a great moment too when he goes to shake his hand. He pulls his arm out.
Oh my God, that was
Yep.
I love Danny Kaye's so good.
Oh my God, he
my
is. I mean,
God.
he has, he has this whole like, fat, just a great persona in all of his films. Probably the court jester probably is the quintessential Danny Kaye.
For me, it's Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah, I love Hans Christian Andersen. Yeah.
Hans Christian Andersen, Danny Kaye, his voice just
so good.
Plays. It is one of my top favorite movies.
Yeah. How about he's on a couple episodes he's on an episode of the Cosby Show where he plays the dentist.
Yes, the dentist.
I don't remember that at all.
He's a dentist, and he's kind of old, and like Rudy's afraid of going to the dentist. It's really a great episode of the show.
Yeah, they got blocked the Cosby Show out, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, we're not.
I think a lot of us
that.
have. Yeah, a lot
I
of us
get
have.
it.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't remember that at all. But I love Danny Kaye.
But I love though the fact that like the soldiers are putting on their variety show, and obviously Bing Crosby's character is already this well-known entertainer, and then
Bob Wallace.
Yeah, Bob Wallace. But then, Danny Kaye's character is like, like, oh, I saved his life. So come on now, I got to use this connection. Oh, I wrote a song. Like, couldn't we be partners? Like back in the, when the war is over. I mean, I love that he's like that, which of course carries.
Hustler, yeah.
He's a hustler. Yeah, he's a hustler, which we see throughout the whole film. But I mean, it sets it up so well that, he's like, yeah, I got to use this wartime connection to get on, to trod the boards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And he does. And then we get a nice little montage of them becoming very successful together. It's, Wallace and Davis act Buffo, yeah. I love that old headline, right? Buffo, So we see them, and then they are heading off to in the rehearsal. Then we meet our what's one of the more famous lines from one of the more, smaller characters. Mutual, I'm sure.
Have an apple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All the time, out of context.
That's Barry Chase.
Yeah.
Barry Chase, who was a well-known dancer and chorus girl and all this other stuff, and it started getting more work later on. I think she was 21 at the time. Yeah, she was pretty young. But then our stars get like, we got to go check out this act. And that's when we meet them, our sisters. Amy and Erin, take it away. Well, except one of you has to sing for both of you because that's what happened. So
it's both Rosemary Clooney.
Rosemary Clooney sing throughout the film because Vera Ellen is an amazing dancer, but she can't sing. So it was.
It's just not as strong as a voice.
Right.
When she first started in film, she was singing, but it just wasn't a good enough voice. Oh yeah. She's in this movie called Three Little Girls in Blue that she sings. And so she has a nice voice. It's just not as strong as
I see.
You hear Vera Ellen sing once in the movie.
We do? Where?
Yeah, when they get off the train in Vermont.
Right. Yeah.
Snow, like improvise, you can hear it. You can definitely tell there's one note that isn't quite right.
Well, because someone else sang her parts in the rest of the movie. And I forgot her name.
Well, and in the sisters number, it was Rosemary Clooney.
Yeah, that's the only number that Rosemary dubbed
Trudy
her.
Somebody. I don't remember.
Trudy Stevens. That's it. Trudy Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys all something, because you're all, obviously veterans of the actually having been on the stage. And so, and like I said, there's one thing that kind of, in my mind, kind of like my favorite musical, well, I love Gene Kelly. Okay, so probably On the Town is my favorite musical movie. I could watch that 8 billion times, which Vera Ellen is in as Miss Turnstiles. Oh, she's so great. And you have 6 leads. It's Gene Kelly, Frank Sinatra, Jules Munchin, Vera Ellen, Betty Garrett, and Ann Miller. And it's like in this movie, it's like you had Bing Crosby, who was a great singer, but he does a few little things. But I mean, he
little
can't
shuffles,
he can't dance.
He does a time step, and Danny Kaye dances around him.
Right? Yes. He literally danced
a single time step
circle around him, which I thought was hilarious because he's literally dancing circles around Bing Crosby.
Yeah,
I actually wrote that down in my notes.
That's how good choreographers hide the people that can't really dance. They teach you the simplest thing and have everyone else do something fabulous around
or
it.
They like at the end of the movie, they bring up those big like fake people that they stand in front of.
Yeah.
All of them are moving their feet kind of right, except
yeah.
Like
we're asking you to do like a shuffle ball change, babe. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. No,
and but I mean that was because obviously Danny Kaye could sing, he could dance, he could do everything. I mean, he wasn't the greatest dancer, he wasn't the greatest singer, but he was,
he could be a good dancer, but he
was a good dancer, right?
But you definitely see his quality is different when he's doing the duet dance with Vera Ellen because she's so graceful and so and just sweeping, and you just see the difference a little bit. You're like, okay, he's a great partner, but you see that.
Yeah, he's no John Brascia, the guy that is her partner in the other.
Right. So you then you have Rosemary Clooney, who's a great singer,
also not a dancer.
Now, also not a dancer. No, but she
admits it.
She gets out there, she does her fan. So again, she's like doing that, trying to hold her own. And then you have Vera Ellen, who's like, like you say, this incredible dancer, and they have to bring on this other guy who never even has a speaking line, right, to be her partner.
He has one when he tells the kids to get into their rehearsal
Right.
outfit. And then go after lunch. Right, that's it.
Yeah.
No name.
Yes.
So because the thing, it's like she admitted it, and like Erin was just saying, any good director choreographer will hide the dance. So that's why they made that number, the sisters number, so basic and simple with the fans to hide the fact that Rosemary even said in one of the extras, like, oh, I dubbed her voice. If they only could have dubbed my dancing. It was so great that she at least admitted it. But then that's why it's like you see, okay, after the sister number. Oh, also another great thing, going back to maybe It's a Wonderful Life a little like that. So supposedly the reason Bob and Phil are to show up at the Haynes sisters was because of their wartime friend. And that was friend, freckle-faced Haynes, a dog-faced boy.
Oh, so cool.
Who was it in the picture?
Alfalfa.
That's right. Who's also what's in It's a Wonderful Life, has a little role, but like, always was a good-looking kid. But yeah, it's like that's so great. But that's but going back to Vera Ellen, like that's why I think she gets a little side dance with Danny, and that little dance with Dan. My God, that freaking. Oh, holy shit! That looked like on the boat and on like the little, on the dock, and then it's like, Jesus Christ! Just what? And they also the costume I was reading was like
Edith Head.
She apparently like dressing men better than women, but what she did with Danny's, they were talking about in one of the things where they made his like socks gray and his shoes gray so they wouldn't break the line. I was like, that's really brilliant.
Yes,
that's really cool.
It makes all the difference.
Yeah,
that
it really
whole
does.
number is having that sleek line.
Yeah,
and she's a beast because at the very end she trips over his foot and she still recovers and finishes.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys really do know this movie.
This is a lot.
Yeah. She's like watching her. Like I mean, of course, Vera Ellen was a famous dancer, and she also got. Had that tiny little waist, which probably I think it was like a 17-inch waist.
17 inches.
And yeah, and they were like, there was never like there was the anorexia rumors, and a lot of people debunked them later. But then other people were like, no, she definitely had some eating disorder.
Yeah, there was something happening.
Something happening. But they did say the whole thing with the covering the neck thing was I think debunked because she always had a neck covering to hide anorexia scars or something like that. But then no, that's not. That was just sort of her look, and that was sort of her thing. You see pictures of her at the same time in other events without, and she's fine, whatever. But yeah, that tiny little waist.
That was just a choice by costumes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was
amazing. Yeah.
I think it was also like I looked at a lot of photos of her. There's plenty of photos of her with her throat
showing,
exposed.
yeah.
But she did favor wearing a choker. It was just her thing.
Yeah,
It was
that's
her
the
look.
thing, yeah.
And
Yeah, her
they said also that she, I mean, Edith Head, who's the costume designer, one of the all-time great costume designers for film, obviously. And she was somehow trying to balance out the look of Vera Ellen and Rosemary Clooney, who have very different figures, and head size and everything. So the way she did it, I mean, it was just Vera Ellen's thing. So, but my God, she is tiny.
Yeah. Oh my God, that little like in those little dresses. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I think they did brilliantly when they meet at the table before they go off to do the dance is, and then Bob and Betty are not Betty, Judy, Bob and Judy. So Danny and Vera's characters get up to dance, and because they're trying to put them together, not realizing they're actually falling in love too. But you see right away that like Bing and Rosemary get in this little argument, and I'm like, so many of my relationships started that way, where I met this girl, we were clearly hitting it off, and we like immediately start arguing. It's like, so it was a very passionate relationship that didn't last very long, but it was like, so it always helps with passion. But yeah, I was like, oh, this is going to set up a little like back and forth thing there.
Well, did you notice, and I noticed it again last night, is when they're sitting at that table and they're having, kind of the greeting, and she's like, what do you think we should change about the act? And what does she say? A perfect sister thing. Should Betty change the color? Should she be blonde? Should her hair be longer? Like she's trying to change she's asking if her sister should change. And it's like such a dig, like a sister would do. I'm like, I'm fine, but Betty should change,
the problem, right?
Like she needs some work, right?
She needs help, right?
Just a little bit of work, maybe. No. I mean, that's great. That is great.
Just to throw in there though, like they do set up between I'm sorry, that's Bob and what is it?
Bob and Phil. Bob, Betty and Judy. Yeah, Bob.
Yeah. Bob and Phil. But they do set up that Phil wants Bob to get a relationship, so that they has something in his life other than their partnership. Because he wants to apparently do other things. And
45 minutes, something all to myself.
He wants 45 minutes all to himself. So that's why when he sees the sister act, Phil is like, ever the schemer and the hustler. He's like, like Bob at age 51 has somehow never been able to find a lady that he likes. And he thinks, maybe another song and dance gal will win his heart.
Maybe somebody half my age will be great for me.
Yeah, right. Maybe, yeah.
Literally half my age will be great for me.
I think we're supposed to pretend that.
No, he's younger. Yeah,
that's just our, magic of theater.
Yeah, and then we get to the moment, which is such a weird moment, where like, okay, the girls, something to have to do with their landlord, so they have to run, they have to get out of there, or else the guy's gonna have them arrested, which was such a weird. I'm like, can you really arrest them for that? And so Phil, of course, again being the schemer hustler, was like, I got a great idea, and he gives them the tickets, shoves them out the window, and they go on and do the sisters number again, dressed it. And Bing hated this, did not want to do this at all. The little it wasn't, by no means were they in drag, but they put on they rolled their pants legs up and put on the little headbands and had the fans, and they lip synced sisters. And if you notice at the end, I'm sure you guys noticed this right away, is like Bing is cracking up. He's literally laughing out loud because Danny improv'd smacking him with the fan.
Yeah.
So those 3 smacks were not scheduled, planned. And I think Danny knows the first one, it made Bing giggle, so he did it 2 more times, and by the end, Bing just stopped lip syncing. It's cracking up, and it's such a great moment because Bing was, famously kind of like, I don't want to say cold, but he wasn't as maybe not as friendly, whatever. Like people so I remember reading Danny was like, oh, I always really hoped I was closer to Bing, so he'd always do little things to try to warm up the relationship, and so he could tell that Bing really liked it and was I was like, oh, that's a sweet little moment. He made him laugh. Look at that. And then they kept the fact that they kept it in was great. I think it's awesome.
One of my favorite mess ups in that movie is right before that. When the girls are in their dressing room and Vera Ellen's pouring coffee.
Oh, I know. I saw that too.
Puts it down, and then the next scene she's holding the coffee. I'm like, this is terrible.
Yeah. Where's the continuity person? Yeah.
Makes me nuts every time. Because it's
but
so
also
blatant to me.
Why were the boys running? They didn't do anything wrong. Like they ran from the sheriff too. I'm like, why are you running from the sheriff? All you did was just impersonate them. You helped them get away, but they don't really know that yet. It's like,
and it wasn't like it's like that big of a crime, but you know.
Yeah.
And they
Like,
were
why are you
very,
guys running?
they're very famous in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
like they didn't need to run.
Yeah, well, I was like, why are you guys running? I mean, I get.
I'm like, why is there a cab right outside
Yeah.
there?
In an
Like,
alley.
to catch out of a window in an
Like all of
alley.
a sudden there's a cab there?
There's two cabs, one for the girls, one like, like
Place
it's,
where the cabs go with Miami. It's
the alley window cabs, yeah, for sure. They're totally a thing.
So dumb.
So they get to the train, and then of course, you know, Phil's like, I don't have the tickets, and they got to stay up in the diner cart.
Oh, but I love that guy with the tickets. Who's got the tickets?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he's like in everything.
He's in everything.
Well, that's Winnie the Pooh's
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
It was.
Really? Oh,
That's the actor that voiced Winnie the Pooh.
amazing.
Because the
And
guy
if you
who
go
plays
back and
Piglet-
listen to it, it warms your heart. You can hear
Aw.
Winnie the Pooh. You hear
and
him.
the guy who
Amazing.
plays Piglet is also in a lot of things. You hear him all the time.
Really?
He's in Raising
Nice.
the Sun, and he's
Oh,
in
cool.
with Newhart. So you hear those
Aw.
guys a lot.
That's great.
Yeah.
So they all meet up in the diner car, and then of course, immediately, because Phil, of course, had lied to them, saying, "Oh, it was Bob's idea to get the tickets." So Rosemary is like, "Yeah, thanks for the tickets." He's like, "Oh, okay," you know. And then the snow. I love the snow number.
I love it.
Love that number.
I
So
love
the
it.
song.
Love it. I love it.
And it's
I
a
don't
great.
understand why the train is serving frozen cocktails. Like it seems
Yeah.
appropriate.
I want that cocktail.
And I don't know
glass.
what
No, I
that
mean, I want it.
cocktail
It
is.
seems seasonally inappropriate. Like, it's
like
it's
some kind of
winter.
daiquiri.
But also,
They're
what
allegedly
cocktail was
heading
that?
Up to, you know,
Yeah.
they're going north,
Yeah.
you know.
Like what? Yeah. What, you think like maybe go back to It's Sort of Fly, like get a mulled wine, you know? But but I am a bartender of 100 years. I don't know what that drink is. I don't think
No,
anyone knows
me
what
either.
it was. But it's a great shot. The way they shoot it
Mhm.
is really cool because they're at the table and they're looking at the picture and they start snow, you know.
Snow,
And the camera
snow.
pulls back and it shows the bartender pouring whatever this drink is that looks like snow.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's well done. I mean, the guy's kind of a good director, you know. He's been around a while. And I thought that was just such a cool little shot. And again, I love that number so much. But also just Trudy Stevens, amazing singer, but her voice doesn't match up to Vera Ellen's ad. Like when Vera starts singing, you're like,
That's not.
it sounds different because it's a little deeper than everything. It's like,
It's a
all
lot
right. You're like, But I do love that song a lot, and I wish it had like more of a bigger number. I know like people have recorded it since then to put on their Christmas albums. But I just think it's such a fun little song, you know. And like,
Yeah, it's great. It also
uh,
just sets, I mean, theme of the movie, White Christmas, you know.
right. Yeah.
And I like I said, I didn't know the songs from this film like you guys did, and that one I was just like, oh my god. I mean, I have heard that song before, of course, because you hear it during the holiday seasons.
Yeah.
But it just really sets off, and it sets off the whole idea of Christmas in New England also. And you guys. Normally I go to Maine to visit my family.
Yeah.
So I actually got a little like misty-eyed
Aw.
watching it because I won't be able to go this year. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, there's nothing like New England Christmas.
Aw.
This time of year, all that snow.
Right? Except they get there and it's 1954 and they have global warming.
Yeah. It's hot.
Done.
No, it's ruining the economy.
Yes. Very, very appreciative.
Yeah. So they get there, no snow, and they're like, all right. So the inn, which they find out is run by their old general. You know, like how would they not know that? Also, I guess there wasn't like mass communication via like email, things like that. But still, it's like you think they have heard their former governor general like ran this inn, but so he's like, oh, let's keep the girls on. They were there to perform. The boys end up going there with them. And of course, they're performing to half house because many people canceled. There's no snow.
There's no snow. Nobody will go.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
And side rant during the number, the sisters number at the inn, and you see the bar. It's a great big bar there in the scene. And as a bartender, why every time they show a bartender in a movie or film, they're washing a glass? I never do that at the bar. I've never washed a glass. We have dishwashers for that. They're just like, Like almost the whole number. He's just like
Polishing.
that, or they wipe the entire bar down for an hour. They're like,
Right.
"Yeah." You
That
know,
is-
like
We are completely glossing over one of the best characters
Mary
ever.
Wicks.
Mary Wicks.
Mary Wicks.
yes, you're right.
She's a genius.
Her entrance, everything, the whole.
The housekeeper at the end, yes.
Yeah.
Mary
Yes.
Wicks, yeah.
I mean, she's like one of the greatest character actresses of all time. Like even to like
Yes.
Sister Act, brilliant.
Best.
Like she worked till she like basically died. She was in everything. I'm a huge fan of Mary Wicks.
What were some
Yeah.
of the other movies she was in?
I was in love with her in the Doris Day, By the Light of the Silvery Moon,
Oh.
and then the movie before that on Moonlight Bay. And she played the family housekeeper, and of course was like just the
Which she
attitude
often
in the
played,
kitchen,
yeah.
hilarious. You know, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Random dowdy person, you always hire Mary Wicks. So with a little sarcasm. She's also on
Yeah.
Match Game a lot. She's pretty funny on Match Game.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh yeah, she was in Music Man, one of the Pick a Little
Mhm.
ladies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
that's
was.
right.
Oh, that's where I
Is she one of the sisters in Damn Yankees, or was she?
Oh,
I making
I
that up?
don't know. Maybe.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
she
don't
was
know about
somewhere.
that. But she
In
was
my
definitely,
head. Sister Act is what and Sister Act
Yeah.
2, probably.
yeah.
But I
But like,
love her, I
but
know.
it's so perfect that she's of course.
Oh, she was Aunt March in the Little Women with Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder. Yeah. She is in that.
Wow, gosh, amazing.
Wow,
career.
what a career.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
So many
Worked
things.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you see why she's yeah, she's great. She's
She's
such a
amazing.
good- yeah.
Hilarious.
I mean, we'll get to it, but the line she has later in the movie where, you know, he's like, I've had 15, you know, I've had all these men underneath me. I know what I'm doing. She's like, it took 15,000 men to
Yes.
replace me.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so great. It's so great. So great. Yeah, so they decide they want to help the general out because, you know, he's their general. They loved him. And they'll follow the old man wherever he goes. And so they come with this idea of like, let's get our old show, bring it up here, work in the girls, you know, we'll make this whole big variety show to be great.
it's classic movie musical
Yeah.
theater of like, hey kids, we got a barn, let's put on a show.
Yeah.
It's
Really
classic.
pissed if they had let you off of your contract for 2 weeks for vacation and then
And forced you back?
Hey, come to Vermont. We can't do your vacation. We're going into rehearsals. We're changing the whole show.
Yeah.
And you don't get your vacation for Christmas.
Yeah.
I feel like Equity would be angry.
He did say we'll pay them extra on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he did say that. So I was like, all right, at least he paid me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, I am on vacation. I'm chilling.
Right.
I'm not gonna come back to a barn in
Right,
Vermont.
somebody's got a poor stage manager that's got to track all these people down on their separate
Yeah,
vacations.
exactly. Yeah.
Who knows where they
Yeah,
are?
right. Yeah.
They're
like,
all
again,
with their
we didn't have
parents
email back
somewhere
then.
for the holidays. Yeah.
Horrible.
All these phone calls, maybe some like, you know, had to do some telegrams. I don't know, like just to find everybody.
Right.
But yeah, putting that show last together, I'm sure like we've all dealt with that. You know, Amy and Erin, with those memories of trying to throw together a show at the last minute in college, or like some little like summer stock, you know.
I've also always wondered, where is General's daughter? Like, where are his kids? That this
Why is she
granddaughter-
there?
Yeah. Why is a granddaughter there? Yeah. Well, maybe she wanted to stay with him for the holidays.
In
Maybe that's
the
it. Yeah.
but she doesn't seem to just be there for the holidays. She seems to
She lives
actively
there.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
in the Broadway show. They gave her a line for why she was there. That she was going to for the vacation for this, you know, just for the holidays, and she was writing a report about the American Revolution, and New England is where America began. That was her. And part of the reason I remember that line very well is because, and I was the tutor on the show. I wasn't like the wrangler or anything, but there was a kid, one of the kids when they did it in Canada, they did it in Toronto. She had a very severe Canadian accent, and her first line was, "I'm writing a report about the American Revolution," and she would say, "I'm writing a report about the American Revolution." She was supposed to be from California, had never seen snow. Like, they say that. So at the very end, when the snow happened, she's like amazed, right? And I mean, I sat in a room with her and the assistant director. Hi, Dave, the assistant director, and I still talk about it, teaching this kid to not say a boot.
That's hilarious. Well, in the movie, it was Anne Whitfield, who was actually very young. She was 16 at the time doing this, and
But like, where they never explain any of it.
Yeah, you just again, it's just the thing like. Why is he 51? Picking up the same thing. They're just like, hey, we're supposed to accept it, I guess. You know, like,
Yeah.
oh, she's hanging out with Gramps. It's cool. It's all
We
good.
have a few missing plot pieces.
Oh, sure.
Oh, there's
for
so
sure.
many missing plot and timeline questions. I have.
I How does Bob get all the way down to Florida to the carousel?
Yes.
And then all the way, or is it New York? I
Oh
don't know.
no, it's in New York. It's New York.
I have so many questions about that whole scene.
Yeah.
Well, I'll wait till you get there, and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too.
Which is my favorite scene, but like we'll get. But
Yeah.
so many questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the whole cast getting up there and like everyone. The logistics of them moving that show into that barn is. I'm always like, what? It's the holidays. How's that happening?
Yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah, for
It's
sure.
the magic of theater.
Yes, correct.
But
Yes, it's
also,
true.
how do they not like that? Is a huge cast. Wouldn't that fill up the entire inn and pay for the inn?
Where
bills?
would the guests be?
Right.
You know, it's like,
doesn't that pay their bills by them paying for the cast to stay there?
I mean, my thing is that like, well, that yes, I said like Bob's company was paying for everything, so he was like, or Bob and Phil's company were paying for everything, so they were assuming they were paying for the rooms, you know, and stuff too. So yeah, for
And
sure,
the food.
Making everybody
And the
sleep
food,
in the
yep.
barn or
Yeah,
whatever.
Which, you know, hey, we're all theater kids, we slept where we could. So yeah, so we get sort of the first rehearsals of the number and the minstrel number, but then it's like, what's that?
Problematic.
Yes, yeah.
So
well, that's the thing. It's
problematic.
like if I when I am in my remake, I would cut the first part and just have Vera Ellen come out.
Well,
It's,
the biggest problematic part to me
Yeah.
is the tambourines with the people's faces on them.
Yeah.
Is real bad.
Yeah. So that first half, I was like, okay, we need to cut that part. Let's just. It's the number exists strictly for Vera Ellen anyway. So it's like this.
I mean, I love Rosemary Clooney's dress in that is amazing.
Oh.
And the bangles.
Oh, that.
Yep.
Love that.
Yeah. So Vera Ellen comes out in the Mandy number. You're just like, Jesus Christ, those kicks and those back ones and the air split and those lines and those gams, you know. She's like Gumby, like Jesus Christ. But what I find so interesting is like for Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye films, I mean, they're the bigger names in this. Vera Ellen got so much screen time, like solo, you know, partner dances in it, which is great. But it's like that's so odd that, you know, she had what, 1, 2, 3, at least 4, I think.
It's like the sister act broke up immediately.
Yeah.
They completely were like, "Oh, we're in their show now. You do your thing, I'm doing my thing." Like, that's it.
We'll work the girls in. So what about the girl whose job that was? Isn't she pissed off? Is she like tambourine just waiting to like
She lost her job.
Like you took my solo.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes, I'd have been pissed. I'm sure we've all been understudies at some point. You're like, I'm supposed to go on. You decided whatever. But yeah, I also love the little looks that Judy and Phil always have with each other, Danny Kaye and Vera Ellen. Anytime it's about like Bob and Betty are talking, they always do these little like looks. Oh, it's happening, you know, stuff. It's so cute.
Steaming.
I know they're always great. So then we get to like the Count Your Blessings song, which also is another sweet song. I love that little line.
Buttermilk.
Yes.
I love buttermilk and liverwurst.
I'm like, talk about stomach aches. But,
man, when I was a kid, I was forced to eat liverwurst, but I drew the line at buttermilk.
Yeah, I don't mind the liverwurst. It's all right.
Yeah, me neither.
I like liverwurst, buttermilk. I'll use it for cooking, but that's it.
Yeah, same. I never drink it.
I'm not going to go down and drink it out of a pitcher.
No.
In the middle. Also, by the way,
next to a fire where it's hot.
In the middle of the night, a midnight snack, liverwurst and buttermilk.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I do love when they're going to the fire. That little line being grab the cow, like grab the milk. That's so great. Grab the cow. I'm like, that's a funny line. So the song, apparently, according to Irving Berlin, you guys may have heard this, comes from when Irving Berlin was at his doctor's complaining about insomnia. And the doc said, quote, "Speaking of doing something about your insomnia, did you ever try counting your blessings?" So Irving Berlin said it stuck with him. And he wrote a song. He wrote a Best Song Oscar nominated song. You know, lost, but it was nominated for the Best Song Oscar.
Fabulous.
But I was like, oh, that's
different
cool.
song apparently. It was from something else.
Yeah, something else.
The Snow song was completely from something else.
Yeah, that was from another thing as well. It had different lyrics too.
Yeah, what was the word? It was a different word in the song.
Yes. Oh, it was. I thought I'd written it down, but I don't think I have it here.
It was like
you're right. It was a different word. Yeah.
It was free. It was free.
Free. You're right. Yes, it was
right.
Free. Yep.
Which okay.
Yeah. Free.
No works better.
Free.
So then that's when we first see Bob and Betty getting it on. They get a little kiss going on, and then the freaking general. Come on, dude. You could clearly see
Yeah,
them making
come
out.
on, General.
You couldn't wait a second till they like really got some more kissing in.
Right, they're placing windows. Like, pay attention.
Yeah, like you kind of you saw them, but General just was creeping on them. That's all.
Yeah.
That's right. So we get to another point where the General, like we hear like Mary Wick's character like, oh, the things aren't well financially, and the General's like, well, I'm gonna go back in the army then. And he gets that letter. It's such a sad moment when he gets the letter and they like basically say they don't want him back. But there's a great line that Bing does that I always say because I've always had really incredible eyesight. Like I could see through walls. But then the past 5 years, I started to do that. And Bing has that great line. Yes, where he's like, what's exactly like? I'm starting to play the trombone a little too. So because I'm like, I saw use all the time. I love that line.
It's one of my favorites too.
Yeah. And then we get yet another Vera Ellen. Vera Ellen number. The choreography number is just weird. Like again, the opening numbers
I
are
love
just
the
odd.
It's my favorite.
It's not my favorite.
I'm sad it doesn't exist in the musical. I don't.
It's funny.
Why they couldn't?
It's just weird.
Well, but I'm wondering.
I love it.
It's clearly filler.
But no. But I mean, I'm just as I saw it, I was like, I think Martha Graham already.
They're slamming on Martha Graham.
It's a take.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It's totally what it is, and he's very funny, and in it, I think he's great. I like that he's not the partner and I like that she's not in there. I like that she just comes out of the ceiling and those rhythm taps.
Yes.
When she drops down and that just like.
The rhythm taps are so crazy.
Rescuing the world from modern dance with her rhythm taps.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Like I get that little contrast.
Everything about it.
Yeah, I just like that. Danny Kaye's hilarious in it, but I was like, just let Vera dance.
Awesome. But I mean, that to me was fascinating because it was like, this contemporaneous takedown of modernism, and like the looks on the dancers' faces while they're dancing, and I was like, sad.
It just felt like let's fill in another. Let's give Vera another dance here.
Well, why not? But
again, I'm all for.
Yeah,
more Vera, the better.
And isn't it right before that where they have that scene where the girl is looking at the chalkboard that announces that rehearsal is happening that day? And she stares at it for like 10, 20 seconds. And they like, you have a problem reading? I love that part.
But then we get to the part that sets up the fighting between Bob and Betty again. But this is where I take umbrage to Betty's character. So Miss Busybody, Mary Wick's character, of course, is listening on the phone. And Bob's trying to bring this whole thing together. He was going to appear on the Ed Harrison show, which, of course, is, like the Ed Sullivan show, and to promote it. And then Harrison is like, let's make a big thing. Let's bring the old man on. And then Bob's like, no, I don't want to do that. But before he gets to that part, all the housekeeper hears is that they're going to exploit the General and they're going to make all this free advertising money. So she just runs with it, goes straight to Betty like, oh, my God, they're going to do this. Can you believe it? And even Betty even says, oh, I can't believe that, or something like that. But then she clearly does, because then the entire rehearsal, she's a dick to him. She's like,
blows it up.
I'm like, are you like
one comment?
Ask him. Just ask, like, I heard what's going on with the thing. What's going on? And he could be, which again, we wouldn't have had half the movie, but still, it's like, come on, Betty, come on.
It's what I've always said about this movie is, part of the reason I love it is there is no bad guy. There's nobody like trying to stop Christmas. Like,
right. Yeah.
Right. Like it's really, the whole thing is really just an episode of Three's Company where somebody mishears something and then the whole plot goes from there. Because that's every episode of Three's Company. Somebody makes an assumption or hears something wrong and then it just goes from there. I've always said that. I think it's my
perfect
movie. It's not, no one is evil. No one is malicious particularly. So
yeah, that's true. It's true. Like Ed Harrison's the closest thing, but even he's still just trying to help.
Right. Everyone's trying to help. Like in the long run, everyone's just trying to help.
Yeah.
But also, why is Ed Harrison coming to get him at a club 10 minutes before his own show starts?
Yeah. Yeah, like you have your
an
show.
Assistant?
Yeah, send somebody.
Like you're like the biggest guy on television and you're going to personally pick up your friend?
Yeah.
Right. Your army buddy.
what I thought was interesting is like I love that. Then so then of course Vera, Ellen, and Danny Kaye start plotting and scheme. We got to figure something out, and they come with the idea of like, well, we should get engaged then. And I love her line. I love her line is like, you're not exactly Superman, but you're awfully available.
Or she says, I'm not exactly repulsive, am I?
Yeah. I'm like, not at all, boo.
Purportedly personable.
And then we get the part. Then it's a musical theater party, which we've all been to, Erin.
Right.
And Emmy, because they're sitting around a piano and they fucking start singing. I'm like, oh, it's a musical theater party.
Listen,
Gotta start singing.
I throw a party like that once a year on purpose because of movie scenes like this.
Yeah.
Where everyone, it's a big piano and everyone just sings at the top of their lungs and dances and drinks too much. And it's the best party every year.
Oh, I bet.
But as I like to say when I first started it, I was like, I needed to feel like what I think Debbie Reynolds' house was like in the 60s.
Ah, nice.
Meets Marie's Crisis.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh my God. That's so awesome. So they decide that it's time to pull out all stops and announce a fake engagement. And I love he does it throughout the movie. It's one of Danny Kaye's things. I laugh every time his voice breaks. He does
Yes,
the voice
me
break.
So good.
It's so good. I mean, it's so good. It's so funny. I love it.
I love all the clothes in that scene too. The way
Yeah.
Vera Ellen's dress fits her in that
God.
engagement scene, and they're all dancing. But even Rosemary Clooney's like that. Everything is just tailored so beautifully, and it's so gorgeous.
And there's Barry again. Mutual, I'm sure. Like he's so great. He's so great. I love her.
She went on to like. There's a lot of people in bit. Yeah, there's a lot of people in bit parts of this, but she was like Fred Astaire's favorite partner, right? Because didn't he do like a bunch of specials that had her, and she would
she did some variety show stuff.
Yeah, she did some variety show stuff. Because I remember seeing her when I was a kid, showing my age.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was a very successful dancer. So which is good because she has a lot of charisma. Even like because I'm like, man, I want to see more of her. And then I was like, oh, she turned out she was quite well done.
She did okay, but her line there is great. I sure wish it would happen to me. And then right away, Danny Kaye, without missing a beat. Yeah, I do too. Oh my God, such great timing. But Betty's still holding a grudge. Doesn't even like drink the champagne after the cheers. Just ask him about it.
Also, you're at a party. You have to be alone. Don't you know anybody else? You can't talk to anybody.
Right? You're just sitting by yourself and like sulking.
I'm
mad at this guy. I mean, if anything,
this guy because this lady told me this thing.
I know exactly. Yeah. But then we get the fire number. We get which I just showed earlier, but we get this. Oh my God, pure fire. This is like pure elegant. Like I just want to God, sorry.
It's fabulous.
I had to share that. Sorry, I was just
Fosse choreographed.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think Fosse choreographed.
Oh, really?
There's bits of the movie that he apparently choreographed.
Oh, really?
Well, you can see it on some numbers, like you see early Fosse.
The shoulder stuff.
All the shoulder stuff. Well, we'll get there, but love, you didn't do right by me. That doesn't feel like anybody else could have come up with that weirdness.
Yeah.
The camp
choreographed a lot of that stuff.
Oh wow! See that's I did not know, but definitely. I mean, the dancing in this movie is an 11.
And no one is credited as a choreographer for this film. That's
really
no.
That's crazy.
Oh,
that is crazy.
It's a huge musical that no one is credited as choreographer.
Wow. I did not know that. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's messed up. My God, because like she said, it's incredible dancing in it. My God.
Well, I think there must have been some behind the scenes. I mean, first off, the problems with the script, which is every time, we're like, I mean, of course, it's such a delightful film that we gloss over them. But, when Fred Astaire was turning the page, this is why he's like, nah, not for me, because he didn't want to have these holes in it. And like the fact that's interesting that you say there was no choreographer credited and that probably a bunch of people must have worked on it. I mean, who knows there was something going on there. So, yeah.
Huh. Interesting. So after Bob finds out about the fake engagement, he's like, let me go make it right with her. And speaking of making it right with her, she sings "Love You Didn't Do Right by Me."
One of my favorite numbers.
So my very favorite thing about this movie that I've seen a billion times is that part. It's bewildering to me how she gets a train.
Yes.
Gets down there with charts, and she takes 4 boys from the show because George Chakiris is in the show, and then he's in the number, and then she gets there with a dress we've never seen,
new headshots.
Knew everything, promoted, sold out show, and it's a day later. It's the same thing. And there's arm choreography and boys and stuff, and I love that.
Fully stole 4 chorus boys from the show.
Right. All 4 boys.
She's like, come with me, boys. Let's go.
At some hour of the night, she just gets a train.
Well, I was laughing. I was watching it last night, and I was like, "Oh, that's what she did. She put the boys in turtlenecks, hoping that no one would recognize them."
It's so true. Oh
Starts for a song no one's heard before.
Yeah. Well, she even tries to, because she sees Bob in the audience. She tries to change the song at the last minute.
I know, but here's give me that. That's a
the neckline on that dress.
So good. The back jewel.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, that
those, what seemed like very heavy bedazzled gloves.
It's gloves.
Very heavy.
I love it.
Well, there's a Rosemary Clooney museum in her old house down in Kentucky, I think. That's on the DVD extras, and I think they have the gloves or some of the dress or something like that. They have a few items there. Yeah, faded and everything, but they still have them. I'm like, that's amazing.
I love that part of the movie, and I know people who are like, "That's my least favorite number," and I'm like, "What is wrong?
Get out of here!"
Oh, but I think it just gives this whole other view of it.
It seems like it's from another movie. That's why. It doesn't seem like it fits. Yeah.
But I mean that actually rang really true to me because it's like, she's trying to start a new life without Bob and Phil and Judy, so it's like, of course she's got these 4, hot guys looking gloomily at her. And one of them is George Chakiris, of course, goes on to have a great career.
Yeah.
And
cute.
They're all so cute. They're all just like smoldering and she's amazing. I mean, her performance of the song is incredible. She's just, you can see the heartbreak. That's what great musicals are about.
I think Berlin wrote this song for her. No.
Yeah, he wrote
her song.
I think for her. Yeah, he wrote it for her. Yeah, for them. But it does feel like it's not part of the movie. But I guess it makes sense because it is taking place. She's trying to become a different part of the movie. She's trying to do her own thing. So it does make sense. Yeah. So it does fit. But it does seem just so different from the other songs in the show. But then we get the whole great Danny Kaye and his freaking slapstick with the bad ankle. Oh my god, I love it so much.
So incredible. Because
just turned around to wink like 20 times.
Because this again is the Three's Company version. Like they don't want the general's favorite shows, the Ed Harrison show. He plans his whole week around it, but they're like, you've got to stop him from watching. So this is where I was like, come on, you're doing something on national television and don't want the dude to hear about it. Like what? I mean, you can't keep it that secret. And then Danny Kaye must feign the broken ankle to prevent the general. He's like, I just want to watch my TV show. Oh, it's heartbreaking. The poor general.
I know.
But Danny Kaye this is his great musical number in the show.
But then Rosemary finishes her act in time to watch it too. So ran out the door.
She watches it and that's right, Betty. You better feel bad for being such a dick.
She was wrong.
Yeah.
And again, gets on another train.
She had that magic train
to learn numbers that she's never seen, or been in costumes for,
without letting Bob know she's there.
Right.
Yes.
The whole time, and also, again, what we talked about earlier, that poor understudy that was clearly going on, ready to go. Probably
keep taking.
I was like. I've been an understudy and I've gone on. That's the greatest feeling in the world. You get to go on. You're like, oh my God, I finally get to go on. And that person, it was probably their first time going to go on. I'm going to star in the show. And then, sorry, Betty's back. You fucking unbelievable.
She doesn't know a step or where to go. And we're going to push her on the stage. She's going on instead of you.
I can actually dance, but you're going to come on. Great. I would have been pissed. But before the number starts, so they had this whole man, that general, they must have just had him hidden, because how he didn't see the entire crowds coming in.
Right. And then the whole part where she's like, I sent all of your suits to the cleaners except army outfit.
Yeah, it's
and
like
he doesn't think, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Wait, I sent all of your stuff on Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, I went to the cleaners.
It's so
in a
great.
different town, because there's not like it's a town where there's stores. So many questions.
But it was such a touching moment.
Wear my army uniform, which happens to fit 10 years later.
Yeah. But it was such a touching moment when he does come in and sees the crowd. And like Dean Jagger's so great, that look in his eyes where he's like almost tearing up. He's like, all right, give me the tissue box. I'm with you, buddy.
Like, I don't think I've ever gone through that scene without crying.
Why
does he sit behind the cake? That always makes me crazy too.
See the show.
How can he see the show? Move the cake, guys. The cake is a nice gesture, and they don't take it. He just sits right behind it. He can't see the show.
I did. Then we get to the number, and you mentioned this earlier, Amy. There's a little like cardboard little people think they put in front of them. Yeah. I love that little thing.
I love that. I like that whole song.
I do too. And I love the cardboard where they're standing behind it, dancing, and all.
But I also like the juxtaposition of the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, where the guys line up and he walks around and shakes their hands.
Yeah.
Like in the
in the war. Yeah.
Now, as a first time viewer, I will say I thought to myself, oh, how touching that they built a set based on war torn Europe to make. Make the honor the general. It's like, I don't know, but sure.
But did you notice on the scrim in the background, there's a soldier reading a comic because it says comic, and I'm like, yay, comics.
The GIs did.
Love their comics, right? And then it happens. Snow. I'm sorry, the actual singers aren't singing. It's me and Heidi singing. Sorry, guys. Why don't you guys sing it? You're better than we are. No. Me and Heidi keep singing. You're like, no, the actual singer should sing.
Wait, back to Gee, I Wish I Was Back in the Army, which is a great song.
Yeah.
Which gets in my head constantly. I can't ever get it
out.
And the lyrics are really good. Like the lyrics are stellar. But I think in the original version, Bing Crosby's name was in it.
Yes, when they changed it to
Jolson
Hope and Benny.
And I think it was Jolson Hope and
Crosby.
Yeah, something like that. And then he doesn't know she's there till like she walks out on stage with her weird arm.
Yeah. He just looks over like, back. Whoa, right. Guess we'll go on.
Well, Irving Berlin loved writing soldier songs.
Yeah.
Loved it. Like all of those songs that he does of like, gee, how I hate to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
It sounds so similar to a lot of pieces of that song as well.
Yeah, I love that. And then like the little costumes, and then like one of them's got sausages, is like a butcher.
Yes, great. I love it.
And then they go into quick change into White Christmas.
Yeah. It wasn't as quick a change as we've done in theater, but it was like they had a little moment there to open the barn doors, because we've all done like 5-second quick changes into like an entirely new outfit backstage. Where you're
I did Forbidden Broadway for a very long time. Yeah. I know a quick change.
Yeah. Holy cow!
Queen of the Velcro rip.
Like, also, like it's snowing fast and hard because there's a ton of snow on the ground. But, it's not like a gentle.
No.
Or nobody's noticed, which I can't imagine is true either. So.
Yeah, but then they then they're all dressed for the ladies look so beautiful in those Santa dresses. So pretty.
They're so flowing and
well, Edith had she was the greatest.
She was awesome.
It's funny like watching these old movies. You're like, I would wear that now if I could fit into it. But it's just like the styles, like because we accept so many retro styles. I'd be like, any of those, man, like go for it.
And then the great look. Sorry, go ahead, Erin.
No, I was gonna say, we got the part where they reunite behind the tree, and he opens her gift.
Yep.
And it's the knight on the white horse,
which she also had time to buy on Christmas.
Which she had time to buy. And he loves it so much that he then throws it into the tree to then kiss her. He completely discards it and throws it into the tree.
Well, you got to get some. Come on now.
But the fact that he just was like, I get it. Boom. Bye.
Yeah. And then Phil, of course, let me get in on that, like realizes, of course, he's loved Vera Ellen all along, and it's like, come on, Phil, we know you love her. Come on, come on. And then we get, of course, the famous song again at the end. It's
The weird children.
yeah.
Thank you. First of all, that would not be allowed today. They do not allow children on point that early.
No.
Yeah.
Where do those
Right?
children come
It
from?
damages their feet.
Yeah.
You know what? I was watching this yesterday with a friend of mine, and who loves this movie as much as you guys do. And she had danced, and she said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
She took ballet. She's like, that kid's too young to be on point.
And her technique is terrible. She looks
Yeah.
like she's messed up for life. But like, where do those children come from? There's no children in the movie.
Right?
Yeah.
If they're in this number, you've had to have rehearsed them somehow
Yeah.
or somewhere. Like, where do they come from?
You know, it's the magic of theater, you
Yeah.
guys. Why are you being so pragmatic?
They picked him up at the train station. Hey, kids,
Right,
you want to
exactly.
dance? Come on.
Everyone likes it to be Christmas, just send their children on a train.
It's so great. So yeah, we get the big number at the end. It's such a joyous. Oh, it's White Christmas. It's awesome. But yeah, it's I love this film. Like as we joked about, there's little problems here and there with it, but like I think it's such a great film. Now I know Amy, you said you worked on the stage version. Did anyone ever see? I saw the Holiday Inn on Broadway, which was really fun, and they clearly took out the number, but I never saw. I don't know how I missed seeing White Christmas on Broadway.
It was on Broadway twice.
Yeah, I never saw it. So obviously you saw it, Amy. But
Yes.
Erin, did you ever see it?
No, I somehow missed it.
So what were some of the changes, Amy, besides the fact like certain lines? I know they added. I know that Mary Wick's character was named something else, and she actually got
Her name was
songs.
Martha, and she had numbers.
And she had numbers, yeah. And I
she had
think
numbers.
did the granddaughter have numbers too, or was she part of the singing thing?
The granddaughter joins in and one of Martha's numbers at some point. She does a variation of Martha's number later.
Okay. I thought so.
There's a couple of extra songs that like people sing like in a real musical where they would sing a song like the three women sing a song about getting married and the Bob
Are they all Irving Berlin songs?
They're all Irving Berlin songs. They don't do Mandy, clearly. They do they open the second act with an I Love a Piano, so it's a huge tap number.
Oh, very cool.
It's so good. They do a tap number on piano.
Yeah. Oh, sweet.
It's fun.
Are the four leads like all singing and dancing? I mean, so they're they balance.
They're real musical theater.
They balance that out. Yeah.
His number thing still happens. The general stuff still happens. On Broadway, David Allen Greer was the general for a while.
Really?
No, wait.
Nice.
Lying.
Okay, never mind. She made that up.
Lying. What's his name? Maybe it doesn't know. What's his name from MASH?
Oh,
David Ogden Stiers.
David Stiers. Jesus Christ. What a mess of it my brain just did.
I wish it was David Allen Greer.
Yeah, David Allen Greer would be great.
I got excited it was David Allen Greer. That's wonderful.
That would be good too, though. I would pay for that.
I would totally
David
pay for that.
Ogden Stiers, who was a very nice man and had a lot of stories. He always had a good story.
I bet.
Nice.
And was really nice to like the little kids.
Cool.
And yeah, there was a couple of extra numbers. There were just a couple of like extra dance numbers and stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the show, it snowed over the house in the audience, and
that's cool.
That's magical.
It was so good. I wept. Like it started to snow on me, and I was happened to have like decent seats to the opening night. And I was like crying. Like, I know it's coming, and I've watched the rehearsal, and it's so good.
That's so
They
cool.
said like open the barn doors, and when they opened the barn doors, it snowed in the house.
Oh, I bet Donna was always like, oh.
Theater magic.
Beautiful. The women had beautiful, like big dresses, and they did. Love You Didn't Write by Me was in there, and I mean, there's a couple extra numbers. They took out some problematic numbers, and the snow was a big number. The whole like thing on the train was like a
bigger thing. Yeah.
So like in the train, I guess they tried to fool him and think he was still going south, but he was going north. Like a running gag.
Bob's just dumb.
Providence, and Phil would go, "Oh, Providence, North Carolina," and like Phil would be like, "Ah, great, okay," and then like realized he was like they made it realize he was
nice.
So dumb.
Well, the song itself, White Christmas, of course, Crosby's version is the world's best-selling song. It's number 2 on the Songs of the Century list behind Over the Rainbow. It's the most recorded Christmas song ever. And it set the stage for Christmas songs to become commercial, like like successes, because before then people didn't do like Christmas albums or Christmas songs. It wasn't a thing. So when this became so, it was like a hit on the Billboard charts, whatever it was back then, and they were like, oh, we can make some money on Christmas songs. So then you started seeing people record Christmas songs and make albums. So they created the entire industry, which I love.
Wow.
I
Wow.
love some Christmas albums and Christmas songs. I love that music. So yeah.
Well, that movie was a
Coincidentally, White Christmas does not have its own album.
No,
Yes,
no, because of the contracts.
Rosemary,
Yeah,
because of Rosemary Clooney being under contract for someone else.
I think
The fact that it's a huge opportunity to have all these recorded and it was never recorded. It's insane.
They released 2 different albums. They released like one that had some of it, then they released another one that had some of the other ones on it, but it never was an entire films thing. And I couldn't even find the other ones on like streaming anywhere. The others, I don't know if they even exist anymore.
Wow.
But what's funny is that like the song actually starts out, and I think like Bette Midler has it on her album, and she sings this part because usually the first part's cut out.
Yeah.
But the first part, do you know the lyrics? I'm not going to sing them, I'll say them. The sun is shining, the grass is green, the orange and palm trees sway. There's never been such a day in Beverly Hills, LA. But it's December the 24th, and I'm longing to be up north. I'm dreaming of
I
a
never knew
west.
that.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard that. What do they call
Yeah.
it? The verse? No,
Yeah, it's like
what's
the first verse. It's like
Yeah.
If you can find it on YouTube, Bette Midler singing it. Because it's on her album from years
Well,
ago.
but Irving Berlin wrote a lot of those great intros. I mean, his songs are so well known. But see, now I'm forgetting my song writing past. But yeah, those, I think it's called the verse. No, it's not called.
Oh.
Anyway, these intro lyrics are so little known, and when you do hear them,
Yeah.
like what?
Well, it's the beginning of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Not everyone knows
Everyone sings it.
Right.
the beginning of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
So
what
it's
is it? Do I know it? What is the beginning of that?
When all the world is a hopeless jumble.
Oh, maybe
When
I
all
do.
the world.
Yeah.
Sing it.
I can't remember all the words.
All I remember is when all the world is hopeless jumble and
Okay.
raindrop something, tumble on this from the something. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, there's
Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't.
You know,
Go
I
ahead.
can't. No, I was just going to say, I can't match all you with your theater experience, but I did have a brief career as a cabaret pianist. I
Oh.
accompanied a singer who sang the songs of Kurt Weill. So, yeah,
Nice.
I've had a little bit of performing experience.
No,
Just,
I know.
Yeah. But a
That's
little
awesome.
different. I would love to see Kurt Weill's Christmas. That would be wonderful.
But there's always new Christmas albums every year. I already bought. I know the special's coming to HBO on the 3rd, but they released the Carrie Underwood Christmas album like a week or 2 ago. I got it like right when it came out.
Oh,
I
wow.
love her.
Gonna
Dolly
get that.
Parton's got one.
Yeah. Well, who's got one?
Dolly.
Dolly.
Oh
Dolly.
yeah. Of course, yeah.
Special this week.
It
But also,
would- did you watch her new Netflix film?
not yet.
It's not great.
Oh, no,
is
It's
this-
Dolly's Dolly. She's
Oh,
great.
wait, is this
but it's like
the Hillbilly
Christmas,
Elegy?
no, it's Christmas.
Oh.
Oh, that's it's Christmas on the Square, and it's like Dolly's Dolly in it. She's great, but like even Christine Baranski is like, yikes! It's like I was like all looking forward to it. I was like, oh my god! I was like, oh god, there's so many bad actors in
I
this.
haven't watched any holiday movies yet because
Watch Jingle Jangle. It's
I will. No,
Oh,
I
it's
told you
fabulous.
to. I just
It's
was waiting.
joyous.
Waiting till after Thanksgiving. I was like, no Christmas
Me
till after
too.
Thanksgiving.
Nope.
But we had to
Nope.
watch. But we watched Home for the Holidays, which is like quintessential Thanksgiving movie
yeah.
with Holly Hunter.
Well,
Yeah.
see, it's
Oh.
like here's my thing with people, the Christmas too early punks out there. It's like when I was in England last year, which I should have been there at this time this year as well. They don't have Thanksgiving, so their decorations are up in November, and I was like, this is my home.
That's
I love
true.
it.
Well,
It's great.
Jimmy, I've been to the Philippines multiple times, and they start Christmas in Manila in September.
Yeah, that's right.
Manila is covered with Christmas trees and Christmas
Mhm.
decorations in
People know what's
September.
up.
And I
Yeah.
was like,
I just don't celebrate
okay.
Christmas, so I'm just like, just wait. Let's do Thanksgiving, then you all can do your Christmas. I like Christmas.
Why can't you do both at the same time? Why not?
I don't-
Thanksgiving is one day a year. Come on, Christmas is.
I don't do
entire
Christmas,
month.
so I don't care. I mean, I'm gonna go.
No,
get
fair enough. For you, I understand. Yes, fair
I'm gonna
enough.
get Chinese food and watch a movie. That's,
That's
what's
right,
gonna happen
that's right.
regardless of when the holiday is.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
watched after we watched White Christmas, we watched a Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol.
Love it. Love it.
It's a classic.
The
And then
Muppets one is great. The Muppets one.
I haven't seen that one in a long time. And then,
Oh.
then we
also,
watched.
Emmett Otter is on Emmett
Oh my God, Emmett Otter
Yeah.
Jug Band Christmas, one of my favorites.
It's on Prime though. It hasn't been out in ages, and you can
I
watch
have it on DVD also. Yeah.
Well, we were toying with doing that for Comic
Yeah, I was gonna do it on this
Cider,
here, yeah.
but we'll see. But you know what? Then I watched the very first episode of The Simpsons. The Simpsons roasting over an open fire.
Oh really? I've
Yes.
probably seen it, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
it.
you have Santa's Little Helper. That's a good
Yeah.
one. That's a
Yeah.
good
Oh.
Christmas. That's a good. It's on Disney Plus, which is like, oh, my head. But
I've gotten rid of. I used to have a giant DVD collection. I've gotten rid of most of them. I still have quite a few, but it's like I still have stacks of Christmas ones. Just because it's my favorite. I have like Christmas specials from TV shows a lot because in the UK they do Christmas specials, of every TV show. So like, of course, I have the whole Gavin and Stacey, but I watch the Gavin and Stacey Christmas special every year.
Oh my God, I was
and now
so last year.
And then the new one, of course. Yeah, that was 2 to watch every year. Miranda's Christmas specials.
Mm.
Genius. I love it.
Mrs. Brown's Boys. You ever watch?
Yes, Miss Brown Boys.
That's
Yeah,
one of my
for sure.
favorites. And
Yeah.
also, like the Bake Off does a Christmas special.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
So it's
Last
always
year,
really
Dairy
good.
Girls. The Dairy Girls.
I keep meaning to watch that. I hear that's really
I
good.
love them
very
so
bad
much.
at baking. They are not good at baking, but it was
It
hilarious.
was so funny. They were
so atrocious.
yes, they were terrible.
But I enjoyed watching every second of it. I love a Christmas thing. Last year I went to the Museum of Moving Image in Queens. Is that what it is?
Mm.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I saw Paul Williams did a talk about Emmett Otter, and I got an autographed copy of my soundtrack. I bought the CD came out for the first time last year. I should have brought it out. It's in the other room.
well,
And I met him. I'm obsessed with Paul Williams, like obsessed. But he talked about the whole movie and how they made it, and like all the songs they did. And he also talked generally about his work with the Muppets, and it was like the greatest hour and a half of my life.
Well, they came out with a book too. I bought the book last year, the year before, the Emmett Otter book. So I have that as well, along with the DVD, which has some great extras on it as well. Yeah, we thought maybe we could do that in January. Who's to say we can't do it a Christmas movie in January?
well, we might need to.
Whatever.
It's going to be a long.
January and March. We have nothing to look forward to.
Is that-
pretty much
Keep it
a rough
going.
winter. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Christmas music going. Keep Christmas
Hell
movies going.
yes.
Keep your
Hell
damn tree
yes.
up.
Jimmy, in my house, we kept the Christmas tree up until my grandfather's birthday, which was February 4th. So
Nice. I
we
tend to
kept-
keep my Christmas decorations up through January.
by
anyway.
then it was a kindling and a terrible
Oh, yeah.
fire hazard, but
Yeah.
so we were very careful. But yeah, so I hear you. You got to get through January somehow, and maybe it's Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? So there's so many great. I could make a giant list of great Christmas films to check out.
I also like one of my favorites is the Santa Claus. I could watch that movie 100 times.
The
Tim Allen.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I've weirdly never seen those.
That's
I don't
a
know why.
great
So that was
movie.
that
You're
was
gonna
on
love
my
it.
list of watching this year.
It's really good.
You're
Even
really
though-
gonna
yeah.
like it, Jimmy.
So
It's a
I'm-
great series.
Yeah.
Are you guys into? See, I'm toying with doing this, so you might get a preview of Jingle All the Way.
See, that's another one I haven't seen. So I know I have to watch this
No.
for this.
But the Jingle All the Way is not a great Christmas movie, but
I'm
it's
still listening. I'm here. Keep going. I can
fascinating
hear you.
film. It's a fascinating product of its time. Let's put it that
I
way.
somehow missed it.
You're
I
into the
don't know how.
90s. Jingle All
Yeah.
the Way is primo evidence.
Yeah, I mean,
evidence.
the Santa Claus is one of my favorites, and I, for some reason,
Huh.
own it because I like it so much, and it's just the premise of that is so clever to me
It's very clever.
that it's like the whole idea is great, and also Judge Reinhold's in it, and
Yeah.
how often do you see Judge Reinhold in anything these days? So
That's true. Yeah, for sure.
I enjoy him, and
I mean, there's always the classics. I mean, with the modern classics, Scrooged and even
Scrooge
Elf.
is
I
great.
love.
Elf. Elf is
Love
good. I
and,
like Elf.
and Christmas Vacation. Got to see that.
Oh, Christmas
well.
Vacation.
And I
I'm a
watch
huge
probably.
fan of A Christmas Story.
yes.
I love
Oh yes, of course.
I also worked on the Broadway Christmas Story as well.
Oh, you did.
I was like, I'm like, they just hired the Jewish lady to do the Christmas shows. I worked on those for 2 years. There's a lot of kids in that show.
It's a lot of kids in that
So I
show.
was trying to.
That's
I was trying to
actually
find
So,
my.
so Amy, as a
Trying to find my
tutor,
Emmett Otter book,
do
I
you
can
mean
find
like
it.
you're the actual like what does that mean exactly?
Like when kids are in a movie or a TV show or on Broadway, they don't go to school.
Mhm.
So I do the school.
Ah,
So,
wow.
sometimes it's like hardcore. Like it depends on the kids and how like what they're doing and stuff. But like White Christmas had, I think there were 11 of them. There were 2 tutors on that show. There may have been more of them. Is any of them watching? Hi guys. School of Rock. There were at one point in that show like something like 17 kids on that show, and I taught over 60 kids on School of Rock through the whole run of it.
Amazing.
Wow.
Like a real classroom. But then like sometimes it's just like one-on-one. Like White Christmas, there were 2 girls. They just split the part. So it was like me and like the one kid hanging out. I'm still friends with some of them. They're all like one of them's like 21 now, and she's like texts me. I'm like, oh god, I'm so old.
She's like, I'm having a drink. You're like, no.
Like theater's not happening right now, and I had a bunch of jobs lined up because we're a lot of kids on Broadway when Broadway closed. I was doing Carolina Change. I was doing West Side Story. I was doing Doubtfire. I was doing an off-Broadway thing. So I had all these gigs lined up that all shut down. There was supposed to be a Lab of the Music Man I was going to do. All those things sort of,
Yeah. It's a little heartbreaking.
It's all really terrible. All those kids are going to be giants, and they're going to have to recast all of it.
Yes,
Like,
that's going to be difficult.
Oh, that sucks. So sad for the kids.
I know they were showing. It's so sad for everybody. I mean, during the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, they had all these cats coming out and doing numbers, and it was like,
it's very depressing. But I have been doing some TV work where they like have a kid in a show and they need a tutor for a day or two.
Oh, so, that's good.
But the COVID protocols are like insane. Like I've had, like in let's say the last 3 weeks of work, I've had at least 10 COVID tests.
Wow. So how have you been? All right, so this is very off topic for Comic Beat Insider, but I'm just super curious.
I'll be glad to answer.
How do you know? Do you have special tests? Because I had to get a test and like I had to stand in line for 4 hours. So
no, every company I've worked for, they're doing their own testing.
Right.
They have somebody who's in charge of it. They use a company or whoever, and they basically like I was doing a Showtime show, and they have let's say a 4-hour window, and in that 4 hours, like Mount Sinai is there, and they do all the tests.
Mm-hmm.
And you just go down there in the 4 hour where they just sign you in and you go and you take it. And then you have an app. I have 2 different apps now. So every company's got their own thing, but you have to like show the app that says you passed your test and you don't have a fever for the day or whatever, and then you can go to work. But like I have to go, I'm working on Monday. I had to go take a spit test and FedEx my spit test in today. So that Monday. And I already had 2 other tests this week. It's a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, that's great that they do that they take care of that way.
Yeah, and I'll take the work. And if anybody has a positive test, I think it shuts everything down.
Yeah. I've been seeing that in different things. They're like just we've seen it in the news. Like they shut down early on. They shut down Batman. They shooting on Batman.
Well,
I have friends working on a movie, and they were in full quarantine the entire time. They had to do a full quarantine before. Then they housed them the whole time, and then like the whole run of the movie, they were in a house in the quarantine. Like they weren't. It was like part of the thing, and the extras are like that too on the movie, whatever the movie was.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the tough. The extras thing. I was reading like there's in South Korea some film or some new TV show that I was looking forward to watch or shooting now had to shut down because an extra.
Yeah.
A random extra just did. So like, we got to shut down now.
Well, a lot of the shows here are using the same like core group of 20 extras. So like, apparently the FBI, like it's like there'll be the SWAT team, and then later they're in the cafe. No.
Totally.
Eagle-eyed, you could see that's gonna happen on all those shows. They're all the same extras.
I mean, I have some friends that are working, in makeup and hair and television, and they were doing on Broadway, and obviously that's down. So they're, getting work now doing TV. And someone posted a picture of what they do in between work, and that everyone is in their individual zipped up pods.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they're just in there on their phones to not interact, to not possibly spread anything. So they
rehearse everything in masks and shields. They rehearse scenes, like everything. They block them, and then they take them off and do the scene. And like normally, like if I'm on a set, I can like, I'll go down to craft services and see what's up, or I can like walk around, see if I know anybody. Or you can't go anywhere.
No.
This is your room. You stay in your room.
Yeah, I follow Amy Garcia on Instagram because I love her. She's on Lucifer, right, which is a show I love. She was, of course, on the George, what's his name? Latino comedian. His show. Yeah, she's on that show. But she's really funny, so I follow on Instagram, and she showed like they have the zip up tents, that they go in and out of. It's like, oh my god, like the whole little face shields and everything. But yeah, it's crazy. Sorry, I ran off. I was trying to find that in and out of the Jug Band Christmas book, but I couldn't. But I did find the DVD. But I was looking for the book. I was like, oh, there's this great book. But yeah, we should probably wrap it up. Before we do, as always, Amy, this is new to you
Ah,
probably, but
I
I like,
wanted
since we do old
to
movies,
see
I like
how
to
you could do
recast
this.
them modern, but ethnically, usually Asian because I'm Asian, and yeah, and surprise, and so we do my modern day recasting of White Christmas. So
I'm very excited for this, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I'm dreaming of a less
You actually
white
cast people with
Christmas.
pretend you're making fun.
A new cast I'll christen, so please just listen to these Asian pics for the show. All right, so yeah, so I'll do this is where I do the screen share thing again. We're gonna do that, and screen share. Oh wait, am I doing it? Yep. Sound on.
Are you doing it?
I am doing it. Yes. Share. So first up, we're gonna go with oh no. Okay. Well, something's on there. Oh, so for Bing Crosby, Bob Wallace, Jose Lana, we all know him in theater.
Yeah.
It's valid, yeah.
Yep.
Great singer, amazing voice actor. He's done a little bit of film and TV, not a lot, but amazing voice. So let us see him do that. And then I just sort of teased you with the pick there. But for Danny Kaye, who's of course very versatile and everything like that, we all know him from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Vincent Rodriguez III, who I loved him in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and he's singer, dancer, everything, and he did a lot of goofy stuff on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. So I think he'd be great for all that slapsticky stuff. And I know theater people are familiar with her. She does have a film coming out soon. But for Rosemary Clooney's part, Betty Haynes, Ava Noblezada, of course we know from Hades Town now. And but Miss Saigon, if you don't know her voice, just take a second to listen.
Gorgeous.
Gods of the sun.
Loud song.
You will be who you want to be.
She's insane. Her voice is insane.
Can choose whatever.
So that's for her. So for Vera Ellen.
Stop that. Whoop.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to stop that.
I worked on that show too, by the way.
Oh, you did? Amazing. Of
What
course
show
you
haven't you worked on?
As a child, it's probably mine.
So for Vera Ellen, I want to do a well-known. I'm going to K-pop because I always go to K-pop. Considered one of the best dancers in K-pop around. She is she goes by the name Yusha. But Yua of the wildly popular K-pop girl group Oh My Girl. And I didn't even think about this when I cast her. I just cast her because she's a great dancer, but she's also known she has a super tiny waist, apparently. So, Vera Ellen, there you go. I had no idea.
Nice.
But if I was going to show you a thing real quick, as her dance partner that John Brasha played is a guy from a Block B, another K-pop group.
Jimmy, turn down can you turn down the volume on the YouTube a little bit?
When I do it, I just turn my volume down.
Got to turn it. Yeah. Because YouTube always blasts. Their sound is so much louder than anything else on the web.
So this is Yuquan and Yusha doing this cute little cat dog.
I fell right through the cracks. And now I'm
Cute and
trying
adorable
to
they
get
are.
back.
Really great dance.
Before the cool down run out, I'll be giving justice, and nothing's gonna stop me. Put divine intervention.
So they start off very cute, and then they get into this like sort of, yeah. My girl can move anyway. So from there we'll go to Dean Jagger, the Major General. We won't make him the same age as Bing Crosby. He'll actually be somebody, an elder statesman. Ken Watanabe.
Sure.
The great as a general.
Always.
And has been in a musical.
Yes, he has. He was the king and the king and I. You're right. Yep, for sure.
Worked on that.
And yeah, and Mary Wick's part as Emma Allen, but like in the musical that Amy worked on, she actually had songs. So let's bring in somebody who could. In my version, we would certainly utilize her to sing, and why not bring back what's happening? Bring back to Leah Salonga.
Nice.
It's a very
Yes,
Filipino
I'll
cast I'm
picture.
casting here. Yeah.
Yes, the
Yeah, that's one of our
Filipino.
newer headshots.
I'm the Filipino Christmas. I love it.
Well, I mean, Filipinos can sing. Let's
Well,
be honest.
also-
And they love
I swear
Christmas.
to God,
Yes.
there's something in the water in the Philippines that
Yeah.
you all
Her
can
special's
sing.
on this week. Her great performances is on.
Yes, I'm recording it. I know. So I think it's on tonight or tomorrow.
Tonight,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm recording it
Tomorrow.
tonight. Yeah.
Oh.
Can't wait. For Barry Chase's role, mutual, I'm sure. Going back to K-pop, Solgi. She's also a great dancer as well. Is considered one of the top dancers in K-pop.
She's
She's from the group Red Velvet. She's amazing dancer. I don't have any dance video for her, but she is ridiculous how good she is. And then for who's next? Oh, for Ed Harrison. It's a small role, but let's bring him in. It's let's do Manny Jacinto.
Yay!
Let's all know who that is.
I love him.
Yeah, he's great. And for the last two roles, little Ann Whitfield, the young little granddaughter, we're gonna bring in. Oh, there's something up with this. Why can't I move this? Can I? Oh, I can move it. Okay, great. So we're gonna do our little Moana there.
Great.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice.
She's, she'd be good because let's give her some numbers to sing as well. And then finally, directing this all, famous director we all know. It hasn't really done much film or TV, but famous director on stage, Eric Lee.
Oh,
Right.
The original, the inspiration for Connie Wong in the original Connie Wong from A Chorus Line back in the day. And she's directed probably 4 million productions of it, and
And she's in Turkey
and many of my
Lurkey
friends, and she's been very involved. My friends are in a few that she worked on, but so that is my modern day recasting. Of,
Nice
job.
great job, Jimmy, as always.
there you
Very, excellent.
go. This is a heavily Filipino cast this time because it's a musical. I mean, come on,
It should be.
and we can sing, or well, most of them can sing.
Well, I will say this: watching White Christmas definitely put me in the mood for the holiday. And I think if I'd grown up with it the way you guys did, I would love it as much. I mean, I think watching it for the first time, just as a movie, I had some why? Why is Bing Crosby so much older than Rosemary Clooney? Wow, why? How did they get on the why is, so all the things that you brought up, I was sort of like, but it's incredibly entertaining. And I mean, the music is spectacular. So yeah, it's as Christmassy as they come. And snow.
Yeah, for sure. So we got, what do we have next week, Heidi? We're doing
I think we're doing our gift guide or comic our buying guide. We're going back to comics once in a while. We talk about comics here.
Excellent.
So just occasionally. So yeah, but
and then
suggestions, and then
we still got more. I'm going to do Arthur Christmas, one of my favorite new animated Christmas films. Arthur Christmas, you haven't seen it? Fantastic. I love it. Great voice cast too. And then also, of course, Miracle on 34th Street. We're going to do at some point too. So
the original.
Of course. How dare you? Of course, the original.
I have to ask.
I mean, we'll mention the remake, but yes. But
Laura Wilson is very cute in the
my
remake.
God.
Very cute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fine. Whatever. Fine. But final thoughts on White Christmas, guys? Anything?
I mean, it's honestly, I love it so much. My roommate, I have a holiday party every year and I play it on repeat and I turn off the sound and I just play it. Mm-hmm. And my roommate, I was like, I'm going to talk about White Christmas. She's like, I've never seen it with the sound on.
That's great.
So I'm going to make her watch it with the sound on. She's like,
it's a totally different movie when you can hear it.
None of she knows what's happening at all. But
or you could just play it with the sound off and just speak every part and then sing it. Yeah.
That's good.
And sing all the roles. Yeah. That's awesome. Erin, any thoughts? Final thoughts?
I mean, for me, it's not Christmas until nothing starts until White Christmas is played.
Yeah. Nice.
That's it. It's the starting off point, and it will probably be played 1 or 2 more times before the season's over. Yeah. That's just happening.
Yeah,
it has to happen every year for me in order to feel like that's what puts me in the Christmas spirit for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like It's a Wonderful Life is my favorite because it's arguably not a Christmas film. It's not. It's just the last act set at Christmas. But it's my favorite film ever. So that doesn't necessarily kick off my Christmas. But seeing White Christmas, definitely I feel gets me in that mode because it's in the title, kids. Come on. Heidi, for you?
I did like, as I said before, it's new to me, but I think I'm gonna do what you guys do. I'm just gonna watch it over and over again on repeat because it's you can. It's just one of those movies I can tell that the more you watch it, the more you love it.
For sure. Absolutely. So you guys sent the sheet music for Snow I sent you. We're gonna go out singing Snow. Just kidding. I hope you worked on the harmonies because we gotta get it right. But thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it as always. And thank you everybody for listening, who's watching on YouTube Live. And of course, it releases as a podcast either later tonight or early tomorrow. And because some people like listening to it while on the subway or driving in their car or whatever, just hanging around the house doing laundry, something like that. But if you want to get a hold of us, say hello to us. I'm Jamie Aquino, of course, with Comic News Insider, the podcast, the weekly podcast for everything comic book, animation, sci-fi, and pop culture. If you go to comicnewsinsider.com, all that information is there. You can find me online on the social medias, just at Jamie Aquino, JIMMYAQUINO, Twitter, Instagram, etc.
And I'm Heidi McDonald, again, of comicsbeat.com. And you can find me at all social media as Comixace, COMIXACE, or the Comics Beat. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and get all your notifications so that you don't miss an episode of Comic Beat Insider.
That's right. How about you guys? You online? You want to be found?
Yeah, all my handles are at Erin Crosby Sings on Twitter and on Instagram, where you're going to see a lot of cooking flowers and dogs.
Yes.
Most of my stuff's at Wolk It Out or Wolk It Out 23, which is
Right.
where most of my stuff is. And
WOLK, Wolk It Out.
Wolk
yes.
It Out instead of Work It Out. I like a
Yeah.
pun.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's where most of my stuff.
All right, well, you guys start releasing voice videos of you singing would be great, because I mean that'd be cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to find me singing, you could find it on the YouTube.
That's true. That's true.
It's true.
Both of you actually are part of the YouTubes. Yeah.
Singing "Love You Didn't Do Right by Me" and doing all the hand gestures. I'm pretty
Nice.
Nice.
sure it exists on the internet.
Very cool. Very cool. But thanks again, everybody, for listening. Until next week, we are here at Comic Beat Insider.
Comic Beat Insider, thank you so
Bye,
much.
guys.
Bye.
Mutual, I'm sure.